Hi, so I'm here to share a bit about the applicant perspective in this grant writing workshop. When I started this journey 3 years ago writing grants, it was a bit confusing and intimidating, and I'm sure some of you watching this will feel a similar way that I felt back then. I have to tell you that I fell into it by accident, and having been a full-time clinician for 10 years, I happened to have an advisor who was a clinical researcher in HIV in pediatrics and asked if I was interested in applying for a research grant called CIPHER, which is funded by the International AIDS Society to do HIV research in prevention with this drug called PrEP, which at that point I didn't actually know what it was. And I thought it was a big of a long shot for me to apply for a grant that was for 150,000 US dollars when I'd never really done research full time and I didn't really have any knowledge of the field. But my advisor was very convincing, and so we decided to go ahead with it. One thing I didn't realize when I applied for the first grant was there are actually different kinds of grants, and the CIPHER grant is actually for early stage investigators. And so it was suitable for somebody with relatively little research experience, but wanting to start a career in research. And you'll find that there are other types of grants as well, such as training grants, those focused on cutting edge technologies, those more focused on low to middle income settings. So the point I'm trying to make is it's important to look at the grant that you're applying for and make sure that it's suited to you as a person and also to the strengths of the settings that you will be conducting your research in. There are several ways to skin a cat, and in terms of writing grants, I think this rule also applies, but there are a few key principles that I think are important to be conscious of. I think the first one is that you need to know your field well. So know what questions have been asked, what haven't been asked, what the current issues are, and therefore what research is needed to produce impact locally and globally. And for early stage investigators, I think that this can be quite overwhelming at the beginning, and having guidance from a mentor where you can look, such as major journals, knowing who the major researchers in that specific field are important, and doing your research from major international conferences on your topic of interest can also be very helpful. And it's always helpful to be conscious of the fact that at the end of the day, reviewers and funders will fund studies that they think will provide information and produce impacts on crucial questions where there's a knowledge gap in the field. So always ask yourself what your study will add to what is already known and what impacts it will have in the field. In the center of this picture, you can see Dr. Papan holding some wine and watching me present my research study at the time at the International AIDS Conference in 2019 in Mexico. He'd actually waited 2 hours to support me then. And this dedication to mentorship really taught me to work with people who are dedicated and passionate about research, and you'll learn many things about what is needed to plan a good research study. Having experienced mentors who are willing to patiently guide me in the right direction, share their wisdom with me on both their previous successes and failures, and support me through the difficulties was so crucial to getting through, especially the initial phases. Much of the time you can't really see where you're going planning grant applications, because I think particularly for junior clinicians, you spend your life looking after details of individual patients and can't really see the bigger picture required in planning a good study, such as planning finances, identifying and collaborating with stakeholders, and anticipating the challenges that may be ahead and making contingency plans for these. The help that mentors can provide you with linking to existing research circles are also very, very invaluable in helping you to have perspective when you're planning your research studies. I think that if you're starting from scratch, considering a mentor's track record in successfully mentoring other junior grantees, how busy they are, and whether they will have time to mentor you should factor into who you decide to approach for support when writing your grant. Delivery is also, I think, a very important aspect of writing grants. So I think that when you have an intensely clinical background like mine, the stakeholders that you have to deliver is fairly narrow, and that might be your head of department, the patient sitting in front of you, and maybe their family. But writing research grants really forces you to think much more widely and be conscious of not selling yourself short. So I don't think there's a shortage of good ideas from early stage investigators, but one thing I learned from my mentors in the early stages was understanding how your proposal will be reviewed, what your audience is, what your funders and reviewers are looking for, and making sure that you address those concerns. So ask yourself, have you shown them the extent of your center's research capabilities and track record in your application? What infrastructure do you already have? And how clear is the language and the structure that you've used in your application in making sure that reviewers understand what you're talking about? And how does your proposal stand out? What are the unique things about your study that should make reviewers pick your study over other proposals? I think it's easy to forget about this, but the reality of the settings in which most people apply for grants is that they have other full-time jobs, whether it's seeing patients, teaching, managing staff, and multiple other responsibilities. And I think that in the beginning, I really underestimated how much time and energy grant writing really was. And it's important to set aside sufficient time and make sure you're organized, especially if you plan to carry out your study with the help of other departments such as a laboratory, different clinics, different care teams. It's really important to set aside some time to go and see them, gain an understanding of what logistics will be required to implement your study on the practical level, which will help you to write a clearer protocol where you have a good understanding and better confidence that what you are proposing to do is actually going to be feasible. Finally, a few take-home messages. I think that the hardest part is really taking that courageous first step in deciding that you're going to do it. And I'd like to encourage you that it really is possible for anybody to apply for grants as long as you understand what you need to do. It's important to remember to pick a grant that fits you as a person and your purposes and the capabilities of your center. Know what's going on in your field of interest of research, identify mentors that can help you, think carefully about how you deliver your research study, and manage your time and your tasks well. So it may seem a bit intimidating in the beginning, but I want to encourage you, but it really is totally doable. And one last note before I finish, we have an on-demand video in APACC this year, which gives early stage investigators some information about the CIPHER grant in case you're interested. Thank you for your attention.